Thank you very much. And so you see the distinguished leadership role that Canada has played in the growth and development of our Commonwealth. We have had many visionaries who have contributed to the priorities and objectives of this institution. These Canadian contributions date back to many decades, and now it is for you and me to continue to promote and champion the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is a fine institution and has, under the leadership of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, reached new heights. The modern Commonwealth is a family of nations where all members are equal partners. I hope you enjoyed the video, which gave you an insight into the Commonwealth, to which Canada has played a very important and integral role. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to introduce our patron, the Honourable Elizabeth Dowdeswell, the 29th Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. Her Honour is Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth's representative in Ontario. In this capacity, Her Honour carries out constitutional and ceremonial duties and facilitates healthy citizen and community engagement. Her Honour has served the public interest at all levels of government and in the private sector. She contributed globally as Under-Secretary General of the United Nations and Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Programme. Since taking office in 2014, Her Honour has challenged Ontarians to think deeply about their role, not just as residents of Ontario, but as global citizens. She is an officer of the Order of Canada, member of the Order of Ontario, and the recipient of numerous distinctions and fellowships. She holds 11 honorary doctorates. It is my pleasure to invite Her Honour to bring greetings to her cherished constituents, the students of Ontario. Your Honour.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and hello everyone. Happy first day of spring. I hope wherever you are, you're enjoying a bright blue sky and sunshine and a lot of hope. I'm just delighted to join you today as we shine a light on some inspirational young people, and also, of course, on an institution, the Commonwealth, that reaches around the world to connect us. This is a very timely event. Earlier this month, on March 8th, I had the immense privilege of reading Her Majesty's message for Commonwealth Day at an interfaith church service. In this time when we're all facing the challenges of a global pandemic, Her Majesty once again found words of compassion and encouragement. She spoke of our interconnectedness and of a way in which we can transform the delivery of a common future. As the head of the 54 countries of the Commonwealth of Nations, she has seen directly that when individuals, institutions, and countries engage with one another and come together, they can make a difference. As you've just seen, the Commonwealth is about a shared history. All of its countries were part of the British Empire, but it's also today about the future. It's interesting that 3 of 5 people across the Commonwealth, that's 60%, are actually under the age of 30. So all of you today are a very important part of what the Commonwealth is about. In the Commonwealth, many of those countries live in wealthy, developed nations, such as Canada and Britain, others in places with less infrastructure, some of which are already being devastated by natural disasters and poverty, and likely to be disproportionately impacted by both the pandemic and also by climate change. But you know, if there's a lesson we take away from this pandemic, it is that we face shared challenges. No one will be saved from the results of the pandemic until all of us have access to vaccination. Similarly, climate change knows no borders, and the actions or inactions of one nation will actually affect us all. It is imperative that all voices be heard, that there's a place at the table for all nations, and that even in our local neighborhoods and communities, the only way we will overcome such challenges is by working together and listening to one another. So Her Majesty's message is indeed one that I am proud to convey. Most of you would know that as Her Majesty's representative in Ontario, my primary role is to ensure that for the people of Ontario, our constitutional democracy is protected, that the government in power understands and follows the rules of our Constitution. But a second and very important role is to represent the citizens of Ontario. I try to convey their hopes and aspirations, their values. I share with them the stories of their neighbors, helping them to see the things we have in common, and also providing an opportunity to see the richness of our diversity. So whether it's through participation in community events, honoring winners of awards, as we're doing this morning, or hosting people to meet those they may not know so that they learn about issues in a nonpartisan way, my purpose is to connect people, to create empathy through dialogue, and perhaps even to motivate action. And I find that in turn, I am often inspired, particularly when the engagement is with young people. During this past year of COVID, I've seen the many ways in which young people have collaborated and exercised their creativity in solving problems, monitoring the virus, and actually creating protective materials. You have volunteered to provide childcare for frontline workers. You've done grocery shopping for those without transit. You've provided comfort and support by checking in on older people, and perhaps you've even taught them some computer skills so that they can be connected. And so importantly, you've also sensed when your peers may be suffering in silence from a variety of forms of stress and anxiety. These may seem like small things, but they really are the things that matter. Of course, the really big existential issues remain, like climate change. And to tackle that issue, there's no question that your voices and visions are essential. Whether locally or globally, young people have been challenging old ways of thinking. I've been present when environmental activist Greta Thunberg brought uncommon wisdom to people of all generations, including world leaders, to take climate change seriously. She actually dares to ask how an older generation can steal her future by so disrespecting the environment. At home, I think also of Autumn Pelche, the young Anishinaabe water protector from Manitoulin Island, who quietly and persistently has twice addressed the United Nations about the need for clean water. It takes courage. I don't know what causes each of you will embrace now and in the future, but I do know that your writing can be powerful. In composing essays, you've organized your thoughts, shaped your ideas, and found an effective way to communicate them. So I would encourage you to persist, to continue to share your ideas with friends, classmates, and families, maybe even with organizations and institutions that can help you bring your ideas to life. I understand that the focus of next year's essay competition is going to be about connection, and community, but also about the pandemic and how we will recover. All of us have learned lessons this year. I have no doubt that you have ideas about how we will actually build a better world, one that harnesses your knowledge and skills in science and technology, one that recognizes that there are inequities in our society, one that questions who's important and who matters, and of course, one that recognizes just how very interconnected we are on this planet. So I hope that all of you who are eligible will participate. Today, as the Queen's representative in this province, and on behalf of the people of Ontario, I can congratulate Cassandra Nguyen for winning the junior competition with such an important essay. What an amazing achievement. Well done to her, and my thanks and best wishes go out to all of you who have won awards and participated in the competition. As Lieutenant Governor, I like to say that I am an eternal optimist. And it is you, young people, who are giving me hope. So please do not be an observer. Don't simply let life pass you by. I hope you will continue to connect and engage with the world in which you live. Thank you very much. Merci and miigwech.